Bitcoin.
And then, right, Bitcoin pops out of nowhere.
The new kid on the block.
Right.
People thought it was impossible to do. Created
Right.
fully decentralized currency where there's no central governing authority. But
Right.
Just real quick, how much more shit do we have? Just curious.
We just got a couple of things.
yeah, there's like 2 or 3 more
Okay.
items here.
All right.
Yeah,
all
what was
right.
them?
All right. Yeah. Bitcoin, man. Okay. Let's go full screen, man. All right. Christian was saying earlier, he was proposing the question, is Bitcoin a long game by the powers that be to get everybody to lean into a centralized digital currency? And I actually don't think so, because I
hope not.
I think Bitcoin was made by scumbags for scumbags. You feel me? Like, I think that's what Bitcoin...
I have one counter to that argument that I thought of, because I was agreeing with you earlier on that too. But Bitcoin being a thing created by scumbags for scumbags, right, implying that people are trading Bitcoin for things like drugs and,
Which it
and
was-
other things
yeah,
on
Silk
the, on
Road,
the
yeah.
dark web. I would bounce back to you that the dark web was indeed created by the U.S. government in itself. And the point of it being anonymous and open is so that they can get away with doing illegal shit too on it, and nobody will fucking know. Yeah,
Gotta
Right,
love it.
like
Yeah, yeah.
if you're, but like if
Facts.
you're going
Again,
full,
the duality of technology.
right?
Yeah.
And I don't think that this is the case, but it's like if it was invented by some corporate mogul type of guy, don't you think somebody would be out there being like trying to take credit for Bitcoin because it's like the greatest fucking idea of all time, right?
I don't think it was a person. I think Satoshi Nakamoto is a fake name for a fake person that doesn't
Right.
really exist. There's not
Right.
one guy that's just going to sit down there and launch a currency that just changes and revolutionizes the entire economic structure of the planet.
Right.
That doesn't.
But
that
who-
kind
so
of
then
that kind
who
of
is it?
person doesn't just come around. I think it is potentially something like the CIA or some
Yeah.
other group like that.
That's
right?
what I'm saying,
Well,
right?
the
If
first
you're
thing that came
Mysterious
to
organization.
Right.
Origins, I should say.
Yeah, because people keep saying if you found out, or like, you know, these hyper rich people, I keep seeing clips of, they're like, if you found out who the, you know, the creator of Bitcoin was, you would run as fast as you could in the other direction. And I'm like,
Maybe.
if it was the CIA, you're fucking right. Like,
Dude,
you're
well,
dead
right,
right.
First thing that came to mind when you said that, though, was like Iran Contra scandal, and I'm like, oh yeah, the government actually probably would use encrypted form
Right.
of payment to pay criminals to do criminal activities,
Right,
which
exactly.
it has a huge precedent for, because again, we were paid, drug runners from South America to sell crack cocaine in America.
Yeah.
Like, that's already been a thing. So,
Right.
yeah, which again, the rise of drug use and drug distribution did immensely rise because of things like the Silk Road too.
Yep. Yep.
Right. So that's what I'm kind of worried about. I'm like, was this just created by some like tech genius types that were like, oh, I want to create this decentralized currency that's going to be so great for the world? Because the way that they're going to try and sell you on CBDCs, they're going to say, because everybody's cool with Bitcoin now. I mean,
Right.
a lot more people than a few years ago. I mean, people have gotten burned on it. But like, for example,
After
like,
the GameStop thing, everybody knows.
everybody knows about Bitcoin, and it's become more of a household name.
Right.
And it's like, my grandma has fucking Bitcoin in her, like, in her,
You could go to a coin star and turn your coins into Bitcoin now.
And so when this CBDC comes along, it's gonna be they're gonna make it seem like, oh, it's cool like Bitcoin, because they're trying to hopefully get all of the nerds that like Bitcoin to go along with it.
Yeah, they're going to play on your ignorance of the technical details and the difference between what a central bank digital currency is and what cryptocurrency actually is.
Right.
Right.
So
Yeah, because they're already trying to, like, the Fed now is already trying to market it like it's a Bitcoin. It's like, no, it's not.
Didn't
It's
we,
not.
didn't we have some slides that were just flat out lies?
if you pull up on the Unicoin
yeah, yeah.
website, we have it on here, right?
The Unicoin.
I think it's back at the beginning. Even farther.
yeah,
right there.
This one?
Left side.
This one?
That one.
Yeah, the DCMA, bro. So we got CBDCs, Crypto 2.0, the Unicoin Network, right? So go for, okay.
There we go.
Global Decentralized Digital Financial Services Network.
Check out that Scientology piece of work right there, too, by the way.
Bro,
Really?
they got all those laptops there, bro. You already know Hunter Biden's laptops on there.
I know. Look at that right there. Yeah,
Fucking
exactly.
scumbags, bro.
Exactly. Right. Well, because where was it on the page that we found that we're like, wow, this is a complete
Just tab through.
oxymoron.
Right. CBDC is cryptocurrency reimagined for banking. Digital currency public monetary system. I do believe it was on the Crypto 2.0 page.
Okay.
Potentially. Yeah, a
Right.
global
Alright.
decentralized digital finance
That is a flat lie.
services network for central banks and financial institutions.
That doesn't. Yeah,
so
it's like
they're
so
decentralizing it between like a handful of like 4 to 5 of these like global currency, central bank digital currencies, basically.
I love how it says it's it's in big white text, a global decentralized digital finance service network for central banks and financial institutions.
Yeah, it's
Right,
hella the
it's small.
footnote,
It's
like the
the
hypertext at
asterisk,
the bottom.
yeah.
It's the dude
Yep.
talking fast on the radio.
Yeah. Well, no. So it's like, is this kind of stuff gonna just be? Because listen, right now what we've got is, the what
Uber
everybody,
coin.
what like the Alex Jones level, like they're gonna do a global currency is gonna be, whatever. That's when all of these countries supposedly get together and form one big giant currency. So you have to get the G7 and BRICS to come together to fuck you in the ass,
So which
is hard to do.
I think of like,
So what's more dangerous?
but okay, so I don't know this for sure, but the comparison in my head is like the Ethereum blockchain, right, being a platform for the creation of other things. Unicoin is going to be the platform for the CBDCs, but it's like they're saying it's decentralized, and the whole point of cryptocurrency is to decentralize
Right.
every single transaction to every single individual, right?
Right.
So I don't know how exactly this is decentralized or
right.
not some sort of central authority when it's like all of the central authorities just joined together.
I mean, hey, maybe
Right.
maybe they're trying to do this so that something like a BRICS doesn't come out on top over them, Like,
Well, this isn't
Oh, most
even
definitely.
this isn't necessarily like currency.
It's a
This
network
is a services
between,
network.
right.
It's a platform. Right. So like you need infrastructure for these sort of things to run on, right? So Unicoin is that services network.
Right.
right. But then if it's still, they could still convince people that, like, say, it's still I think it's still like a platform for them to be able to like funnel everything through bare minimum, like.
It's
Potential.
decentralized between all the governments. The governments in relation to each other have there's no central authority between them. But amongst their own country and their own people, they have the overwhelming authority on you.
Right.
So it's really just a loose network of all of like the sinister countries getting together and
yeah.
And
being
I
able to
mean,
fuck you in the ass.
Whoever's gonna be in charge of this service is gonna be extremely powerful.
Okay, well, funny you say that because the DCMA founded, or the executive director of which I should say is Daryl Hubbard. He partnershiped particularly with the Chinese Communist Party to develop the Unicoin network.
Right.
So they have their hands explicitly all over this baby.
And
Yeah.
and maybe it could be sort of a good thing. I don't know, in the sense that now you can't run into this situation where a couple years ago when the Ukraine invasion started, what's it called? The SWIFT payment processing system, which is what all these different countries use to process, payment between different countries.
Right.
They basically just shut out Russia from that. They sanctioned Russia and said, you can't use SWIFT anymore. So now it's like everybody in Russia, through no fault of their own, they're just like a random Russian citizen. It's like, dude, what if they're trying to run an online business and they can't even use PayPal? They can't use anything.
So yeah, they were basically like doomed to a financial collapse.
Yeah.
Just left to die basically.
Again,
through that action,
another one of just the principal dangers of such strong globalization and like centralization on that scale. They can just do whatever they want.
On-off switch.
On-off switch. And I think that was the first time I've really seen something that crazy like that. Like, you always imagine it happening where it's like, how about we just stop doing business with China? How about we just stop doing business with Mexico or whoever?
Right.
And they did just stop doing business with Russia, and they stopped taking Russian oil. And it's, you're like, oh my God, the implications are actually really big because now gas prices are shooting through the roof again.
Right.
And then the Russians are pissed at us.
Right. And so if you're the United States, you can get away with just not doing business with another country. But if you're a smaller country, like say Libya, for example, You know, in the words of Hillary Clinton, we came, we saw, he died.
Yeah.
This is what happened with.
Did we touch on Gaddafi yet?
That's what I'm
right.
getting to right
Yeah.
now. Is that this is kind of like we're kind of like getting a little bit ahead of it, but you know, very similar to the Saddam Hussein situation, kind of. So Muammar Gaddafi, you
Got
know,
some chats.
Oh yeah, Ritual Production says, "Where can I get these sweet new federal coins?"
I'm sure
The
they'll email
Uber
you.
coins. Yeah, the Uber
I
coins.
want to sell my 500K dink doing.
Hey, cash into the Fed, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is a strategy of all
Right.
time.
It'll
Yeah.
be like a gun buyback program, but for
Right.
cryptos. They're like, give us all your Dogecoin and we'll give you Fed coin.
Which, by the way, I love the branding that they're using, the sort of iconography for the DCMA in terms of the central bank digital currencies. They have the literal gold coin with the U on it that looks like the Bitcoin, just to try to make you think that it's like a cryptocurrency.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the imagery is a fake even.
It's all about
Yeah.
the branding.
They know what they're
Exactly.
doing.
Yeah.
But and then
fucked up.
when we get to these currencies, it's gonna be what's called programmable central bank digital currencies. So they can determine what not only it's not like money where money's fungible, you can spend money on anything you want.
Right.
It's gonna be like this is for bread, this is for meat. You've eaten too much meat, you gotta eat the bugs now, whatever, you know, and this is like what like Glenn Beck and
Yeah.
like conspiracy stuff are kind of like yelling about.
Yeah.
But it's like there's some truth to that. If basically if they could just turn everything into EBT food stamps, right?
Right.
Because you know if you got if you just need a little bit of help with groceries, they're gonna be like, here, sign up for EBT. We'll give you your tax money back in. But you can buy for groceries. But you see on signs everywhere you go, no EBT for hot food. So it's like, so what? You can buy fucking Oreos, but you can't buy a warm meal. Oh, okay.
Yep.
And, it's gonna be like that for everything. And we're already getting to the point where people are getting canceled from PayPal left
PayPal,
and right.
Venmo.
Except now, every single transaction, they're all centralized into one place. So you don't have to have the government banging down the back doors of these, these
Right.
big financial gateway platforms.
Right.
To say, hey, we better deplatform this guy. He's causing some problems socially, or politically, or whatever have you.
Dude,
So,
you know that YouTube channel Trigonometry? They just
I'm
they
familiar,
just
yeah.
got banned from PayPal.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
they're not
see?
even that extreme, dude. Like
They're
there's
just another
definitely some
podcast,
more.
basically.
There's definitely some extreme people,
Yeah.
that I'm not a fan of, like Nick Fuentes or whatever, who's like I don't even know what his fucking deal is,
Fuck
but
that
he
fool.
got banned from PayPal a long time ago.
But those two guys are just a couple of fucking like nerds, right? Like, they're not doing it, or specifically the guys that run Trigonometry. They're like just a couple of fucking
they're
nerds.
a couple British nerds or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, it's like
And
they're
so-
not exactly wiling out or anything.
No, they're very like moderate kind
Yeah.
of like they're pretty like milk toast.
Buttoned up.
So for them to get deplatformed is
Yeah.
actually pretty spooky.
It's
I'm not
crazy,
gonna
right?
lie.
I mean, it could happen to anybody, but
Could
I
happen
mean,
to
hey,
us.
that's centralization in media. Too,
Yeah.
Right.
Again, we were just saying control of money flow and control of information flow are like the two most important aspects. And again, we're in the fifth generational warfare.
Oh,
You know,
control
that's
of information and emotions, which, by the way, Facebook has been manipulating people's emotions through social experiments and that kind of
Easily,
thing
yeah.
for years
Whole
now.
time.
So
Whole
yeah.
time.